for what?
Okay.
Okay. Strength is not your strength. You need strategy.
If you've been wondering when we're going to see Reacher back on our screens for Season 4, there's been a bit of an update, one that kind of clears things up but also throws in a new twist. The third season of Reacher just recently wrapped up, and it ended in classic Reacher fashion, with Alan Ritchson's no-nonsense action hero saving the day and quite literally riding off into the sunset. The show originally kicked off in 2022 on Prime Video, and right from the start, it was a huge win for the platform. Even though Season 2 was a little bit more hit and miss, Season 3 brought the series back to what made people love it in the first place. Now, the fourth season is confirmed, which is great news, but we still don't know which one of the Reacher novels it's going to pull from. And now there's another detail to add to the pile, one that might affect how soon we actually get to watch it. According to a recent update from TV Line, filming for Season 4 won't start until production wraps on the upcoming Francis Neagley spin-off. And here's the reason. Both shows share a big chunk of the same crew, so it's not exactly ideal to shoot both at once. Lee Child, the author of the Reacher books and an executive producer on the show, previously said that they were aiming to begin filming Season 4 this summer, but that timeline now depends heavily on how fast the Neagley series moves along. At first glance, it might seem like a delay, but technically, things could still go as originally planned. Reacher is basically Prime Video's biggest action franchise right now, so obviously, the execs over there would love to have a new season drop every year. And to be fair, they've managed to release new episodes in 2022, 2023, and now 2024. That said, the gaps between seasons haven't exactly been small. Season 2 almost skipped 2023 entirely and only made it out in December, so even with a one-per-year plan in place, things have been cutting it close. And now with this Neagley spin-off in the mix, starring Maria Sten, who plays Neagley in the main show, it could throw the usual timeline off. Think of it like what Amazon did with The Boys and Gen V. Those shows kind of rotated release windows, and Reacher might go down the same road. If Neagley drops in late 2025, it's possible Season 4 won't show up until sometime in 2026. Now that's still speculation for now, but it does feel like a real possibility depending on how everything lines up production-wise. It's definitely a bit of a gamble to pause your flagship show to give a spin-off the spotlight, but when you look at the details, it might actually be a smart move. Neagley isn't just a random offshoot. It's being developed by the same core team behind Reacher, including executive producer Nick Santora and writer Nicholas Wooten. So there's a good chance the quality will stay high, and honestly, if the spin-off is as solid as the main show, then that shared crew strategy could totally be worth it. Of course, this means juggling schedules and potentially delaying a season fans are already waiting for. But if the spin-off clicks with audiences, that delay might be easier to swallow. The big hope here is that the same magic from Reacher carries over to Neagley. If that happens, it'll probably feel like an expansion rather than a distraction. Now, while we're on the subject of what we want from Season 4, let's talk about one thing that's becoming a bit of a sticking point: Reacher's ever-changing love interests. Across the first 3 seasons, Jack Reacher has had a different romantic partner each time, and honestly, it's starting to feel like overkill. Now don't get me wrong, Season 3 was awesome. It had great villains, thrilling action, and that perfect undercover plotline that kept things intense. It's easily one of my favorites. But this constant cycle of new romances, that part's worn thin. Season 1 handled it really well. Reacher and Roscoe had a great connection that actually felt earned. Their bond grew naturally over the course of the story, and it was one of the most memorable parts of the season. But then, just like that, they went their separate ways. And by the time Season 3 rolled around, Roscoe wasn't even mentioned, which kinda confirmed that ship had officially sailed. In Season 2, the romantic subplot with Dixon wasn't bad. It made sense because of their past, but it didn't have the same spark. And then in Season 3, we got Susan Duffy, who was a solid character and a good teammate, but the romantic angle between her and Reacher just didn't land the same way. Duffy was actually one of the highlights of Season 3. She was smart, competent, and genuinely helpful to the story. But the romance between her and Reacher felt like it was thrown in just to check a box. There were a few tender moments, sure, but not enough to make it feel meaningful. If anything, they worked better as platonic partners. They clearly respected each other and had great chemistry in terms of teamwork, but the romantic moments felt forced, and in the end, they didn't lead anywhere significant. They basically ended things on a let's focus on ourselves note, which, surprise, surprise, is how every Reacher relationship seems to wrap up. Had their relationship just stayed professional, it really wouldn't have changed the story at all. Their feelings didn't affect the mission, and their breakup didn't have any real emotional weight. Compared to Roscoe and even Dixon, Duffy's connection with Reacher just didn't have that depth. So it begs the question, why keep doing this? It's starting to feel like Reacher is following that old-school action formula where the tough guy always gets the girl, but only for one season. Think James Bond, but with less glamour and more brooding. Sure, that's how the books played it too, but the TV show has a chance to do something better, especially since it's already doing a solid job of making its female characters strong and capable in their own right. Neagley is a great example. She's one of Reacher's best allies, and there's never been any romantic tension there, which is actually refreshing. It proves the show can create meaningful male-female dynamics without leaning on romance every time. So maybe it's time to stop forcing a love story into every season just for the sake of it. Now, I'm not saying Reacher needs to be single forever, but if the show insists on giving him a love interest every season, why not revisit the one that actually worked? Roscoe was such a great match for Reacher. Strong, smart, and totally capable of handling herself. And their chemistry felt real. If there has to be a romance in Season 4, she's the obvious choice. Of course, it would have to fit the story. But since Prime Video has already taken a few creative liberties with the books, bringing Roscoe back doesn't feel out of bounds. Fans who've been watching from the beginning would probably love it, and it would help give Reacher's journey a bit more continuity. And let's not forget, Season 2 brought back Finlay, which surprised a lot of people. So it wouldn't be that out there to bring Roscoe back into the picture for Season 4. It would just make the whole story feel more cohesive instead of starting from scratch with a new character every time. As of now, Reacher Season 4 is happening, but there's no official release date. The Neagley spin-off is going to dictate when things kick off behind the scenes, and we might be looking at a 2026 release depending on how that goes. But with Alan Ritchson still in the lead and the creative team staying consistent, there's still a lot to look forward to. Just maybe this time give the guy a break from dating. And that's what we have to say about Season 4. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.